Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope you like this new content that I'm about to bring out to you guys. So recently I've decided to take my channel in a whole new different direction. I've decided to start making mystery videos, true crime cases and unsolved mysteries, and just talking about society in general and those members of society which are often not spoken about, and mysterious happenings that have happened in the world. I'm so excited and I hope you guys will really enjoy this content. So today I'm going to kick off by talking about the most isolated tribe in the world. Now, as I'm doing these videos, I don't mean any disrespect or any harm to those involved. It's just research I've gathered on the internet that I've put into one video. I will be putting some of my own opinion in there, but not so much. It's literally just me sharing the research I found. I'm so interested in stuff like this and I hope you guys will be too. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now let's get into it. Today I'm going to be talking to you about North Sentinel Island and the Sentinelese people. And this is a great interest to me because it's known as the most isolated tribe in the world. And I feel like as humans, we always want to know the unknown. Like if someone says you can't go there, you want to just go there. You just want to know more about it. So I started researching about these people and I'm going to share everything I found with you today. This is my first time doing a video like this, so bear with me if I'm just a bit rubbish at talking. But yes, so the Sentinelese people have been around for over 55,000 years. Sentinel Island is located in the Bay of Bengal, which is around India, and the government that's in charge of them is the Indian government. North Sentinel Island is part of a group of small islands around the same area called the Andaman Islands. The population of North Sentinel is currently unknown because no one's ever been able to get close enough to perform any type of census on the tribe. So research has shown it can be anywhere from about 15 to 500 people. So we don't really know. That's how isolated it is. The North Sentinelese people are known for being quite hostile to intruders and foreigners. There's many cases of foreigners and people that have tried to befriend them being killed by the tribe. And we're going to go into this more later on in the video. So the Sentinelese people are a hunter-gatherer tribe. They forage for fruits and food in the forest because their island is very foresty. So that's how they get their food, and also from fishing with spears. They live in huts that are on the beach and also live in communal lodgings which are further into the forest. However, the huts on the beach usually are just for one nuclear family and have no walls. So when people on boats approach the island, usually that is what they'll see and that's where they'll meet people. What is known about these people is that which has been gathered by either anthropologists, explorers in the past, or from boats that have been able to moor close enough to observe the people in their natural habitats. And like I said before, from previous studies on surrounding islands that are similar. Most people that try and enter North Sentinel Island are met with hostility. They're either chased away with spears and violence, or they're actually killed on the island by the people. In the 1800s, a man named M.V. Portman came with a team to the island in order to take some of the islanders back to the city with him for research. So the first day they arrived, they didn't see anybody. They found the island abandoned and isolated. So they kept exploring, trying to look for the people. They couldn't find them. They had gone deep in the forest. After a few days, they remained there observing to see if they could find any people. And then after a few days, they found two elderly people, a man and a woman, and two children. So they took these people, the four of them, on the boat and took them back to Port Blair, which is the capital of the islands. So it's more of like a city type area. So that's where they took them for research and scientific developments. So they took them there, and what had happened was the two elderly people were sick immediately. Their immune system is not like civilized people's immune system due to the fact that they've never been exposed to any illnesses, any diseases. They've just remained in their remote island by themselves, among themselves, for over 55,000 years. So common illnesses such as even the flu can cause death in these people very easily because they're not immune to anything. So we suspect that this is what happened in this case. So as soon as they got back, they weren't even there for not even a few days. They'd got so sick and they passed away, both of them. In a panic, Envy Portman and his team had to return the 2 children back to the island, so they weren't even able to conduct the full research they had set out to do. So on their return to the island, they returned the children back with several gifts for them and the people of the island, kind of like a gesture to say, sorry, we took your people, now they're dead. So they returned with all these gifts. However, they were still carrying sickness in them. So after the children returned, it suggested that a lot of people died from the illnesses the children brought back with them. It's unknown how many people, but it suggested that it was a lot of people. So some may argue that this is the stem of their hostility towards outsiders, because during this time they're a bit, well, one could argue that they weren't welcoming towards people because they hid when the people came to the island. However, compared with nowadays, they didn't meet them with the spears and the bows and arrows, they just hid. And then when the 4 people finally came out, they were able to take them and go with them. Whereas I feel like it could be argued they were captured. So some may argue that this is where the hostility between foreigners and the North Sentinelese people stems from, because in the past, similar islands, surrounding islands, were colonized by the British and others, and due to colonization, the whole islands were wiped out, because with colonization came disease. The British came with their diseases, and the people's immune system, as discussed before, was not strong enough to withstand the diseases that came with the people. As a result, whole populations, whole nations were being wiped out. Perhaps the Sentinelese people knew of this and didn't want the same ending for themselves. Over the next few years, several people would try and go to the North Sentinel Island to befriend the people and get close to them and explore their lifestyles. However, oftentimes they were met with hostility, but not all the time. For example, anthropologists such as Madhumala Chatrapad, I probably just butchered that. She was an anthropologist that studied the tribe for about 6 years and went on to write 20 books about her discoveries on the tribe and surrounding tribes. So the way she befriended them was by giving them gifts of coconuts and other essentials that they needed. After a while, the tribe began to warm up to her and let her in to their lives a little bit more. A member of Madhumala's team once stole something from a person from the Sentinelese tribe. As a result, ever since they were met with hostility when they would try and come back. After this, she did not return to the tribe. Several attempts from the Indian government were made to befriend the people. They would give them pigs and coconuts. The Sentinelese people appeared to like receiving coconuts. The people from the boat would float the coconuts into the water, and the Sentinelese people were seen coming out to collect them from the water. They never reached the island, but they would just able to observe with their boats far away, and the people would come into the water and collect the gifts they were given them. However, the Sentinelese people did not like receiving live pigs. The Indian government will go there with the live pigs as a gift to the people, and they would immediately spear it and bury it. So I don't know if that suggests that they are perhaps vegetarian, or maybe if they don't have pigs on their island, maybe they were scared, they didn't know what it was, and out of fear killed it and buried it without even eating it. After several unsuccessful trips to North Sentinel Island, the Indian government eventually decided to stop visiting them with gifts. In 2004, the Indian government went to check on the Sentinelese people because this was after the tsunami that devastated millions of lives. But as they approached to check on the welfare of the people, they appeared to be fine and unaffected by the tsunami. So after this, they were left again. However, a short time after, in 2006, two fishermen were fishing near the area and they fell asleep. As they fell asleep, their boats moored towards the island. As a result, the Sentinelese people murdered the two Indian fishermen and buried their bodies on their islands. In 2018, a Christian missionary, adventurer and mountaineer named John Chau decided to go to North Sentinel Island alone to spread the gospel of Jesus to the people in hopes to convert them to Christianity. John Chau was an American man, 26 years old, who devoted his life to Christianity, charity work and missionary work. He was a keen mountaineer and loved going on hikes and adventures. He had an Instagram page where he posted all his adventures and all his trips and all his climbs and hikes that he did. He was a very active and outdoorsy person. John Chau saw most of his purpose on earth to be to save souls and win them for Jesus Christ. He was a very strong Christian and very steady in his belief and wanted to share the word of Christ with everybody that he came into contact with, even the most unreachable people. In order to prepare for his trip to North Sentinel Island, he started visiting other smaller remote islands to try and spread the word to them. But these islands were not as hostile or violent. He also went on a training course where they had people with pretend spears, and he was trained on what to do and how to approach the people. It's known that people should not approach North Sentinel Island unless they want to be killed. So he had a hard time finding people that would take him. However, eventually he came across two fishermen that were Christians, and he paid them some money to take him close enough to the island. So they did this. On the first day, they set out to the island and they arrived when it was late. When they arrived, they moored their boat far away from the island but close enough where they could still see the island. The first thing John said he saw was the fire from one of the beach huts. John was about 400 yards from the shore and he went towards the people and he said to them, "My name is John, I love you and Jesus loves you. Jesus Christ gave me the authority to come to you. Here is some fish." John came to the island with gifts such as fish, scissors and other essentials he thought they may need. As John approached the people, he said that he felt afraid, he felt nervous, and he was shocked that he was not received with open arms on the first meeting. John kept a detailed diary and account of his time in North Sentinel Island. When he would go back to the boat with the fishermen on it, he would write in the diary his experiences for the day. And this is how we know what happened to him. So the fisherman would remain behind about 400 yards or even more, and he would get in a little small paddling boat and he would go closer to the island to interact with the people. So this was the first day. He went up to them and he felt hostility, but no one tried to kill him this day. However, he was received with shouting and angry gestures. So after this, he rowed back to the big boat and settled in for the night. On the second day, John went even closer to the island than before. He was met with the same hostility and angry words were being shouted at him from the local people. People had their arrows drawn at him, and he was standing there preaching the book of Genesis to the people. He tried to imitate their languages. As they were shouting, he tried to shout back in imitation to them as a way of communicating. John gave the people more gifts. They collected them. However, their hostility towards him remained. Just as he was continuing to preach to them and holding his waterproof Bible in his hand, a young boy with a bow and arrow shot him in the chest. Luckily, John was holding his Bible against his chest, so it did not harm him. However, later he went on to say that he was afraid. We get the idea that John, he's happy to be there, but he's a bit surprised, even though it seems like he did his research and knew that the islanders would be hostile towards him, hence why he went for certain trainings and stuff. I think he had this idea that they would accept him and he would be the exception, he would be different, and he would just go there and live with them and everything would be cool. So I think he had a bit of the shock of his life when he got there and the people were hostile towards him. I think he thought after the second day it'll be fine, like the gifts will do the job and everything will be good. However, he was met with the same hostility over and over again. He stated that he felt scared, he was afraid, and he almost knew that they might kill him, and he was shocked that a little child was the one to shoot him in the chest. But he was so determined to get God's word out to these people and convert them to Christianity, because he thought that that was his purpose on earth and that was the task that God sent him to do. When he swam back to the boat after being shot with the arrow and missed by his Bible, he went to write in his diary, "Lord, is this island Satan's last stronghold where none have even had the chance to hear your name? Lord, let your will be done. If you want me to be killed and shot with an arrow, so be it. To you, God, I give all the glory. I don't want to die." He wrote that in capital. Watching this beautiful sunset, wondering if it's the last sunset I'll ever see. I never felt this much grief or sorrow before. So this goes to show that I think he kind of felt like he's too deep in it now, so he just has to carry on. He can't really do anything, and at this point he had lost his passport, so he's feeling a bit hopeless. And the two fishermen were still there. They were on the boat, but they were not a part of it. They didn't want any parts. They would just remain on the boat a bit far away, and then every day he'll just paddle his little boat closer to the people. So on the final day now, on the third day, he went to the island. He approached the island and he was never seen again because they had killed him. No one really knows what happened or how it happened. However, the two fishermen reported that they saw the Sentinelese people from a distance burying a body which appeared to be that of John Chau. Charities such as Survival International work really hard to raise money in efforts to stop illegal fishermen going to North Sentinel Island and the colonization of North Sentinel Island. As previously discussed, these people appear to be healthy and thriving in their own way, in their own lands, and basically the charity campaigns to stop people going there and bothering them, basically just to leave them, to ensure that their waters are secure and no illegal fishing is taking place on their waters. I believe that the North Sentinelese people, I believe that they're just trying to protect their land, because if you imagine that you've been there for 55,000 years, you don't know anything about the outside world, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people are coming to, they want to invade your island. Like, I feel like it probably comes out of a place of fear and a need to protect their homes and their families, because obviously they don't understand that, because if you think about it, it's selfish in a way, because people, they just want to explore them for scientific research. They're just curious about it, like, wow, how can these people live in such solitude and not know anything that's happening in the outside world, not have modern technology or medicines, and how are they surviving? Like, obviously as people we want to know more, we want to research them. However, they've been doing just fine without us, so we should leave them alone, really. So I don't really blame them for their responses when people come and try and befriend them, because it's like, I don't need no friends. Do you know what I mean? So that's the North Sentinel Island and the North Sentinelese people. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll subscribe.